everyone, welcome to the video. John Bodine here with Redemptive Psych, and today we're continuing on our Needs of the 16 Type series, today talking about the ESFP. Now real quick, the ESFPs, along with all the other artisans, all the SPs, kind of have a negative, people perceive them in a negative way within the personality community, particularly because ESFPs are kind of as far away as you can get from a desire to explore the abstract metaphysics. And because of that, they kind of are looked at in a negative light in this community, particularly, I think. All the SPs are. So because of that, they're viewed as being shallow and dumb and all about just wanting to have a good time. And the perceptions miss out on their complexity. They miss out on the purpose of their lightness, which we'll talk about in a moment. So their complexity really, and most of the types' complexity, I think, comes from their critic and their parent functions, where their responsibility and wisdom can reside. And we'll explore that a little bit today. But now we have opportunity to explore the ESFP and their complexity in some of their needs here. Now, as a reminder, the needs of the 16 types, okay? Every element of a need has a need to receive. This is what we think about with needs. Oh, I need space. I need to receive space. But every need has an element of giving too. I need a receptive audience to receive what I have to give, right? That in the ideal world, we have someone to give to who cherishes the things that we give. That is also a need, right? So with all of the needs of the functions here, the text in blue is the need that they have to give, that they want other people to receive, and the text in black is what they want to receive from other people. Now we're just talking about three functions in this series. We're talking about the hero, inferior, and critic. Instead of being exhaustive, we're trying to keep it a little shorter, get to the point, because these three functions, in my opinion, are the most important when it comes to meeting the needs of a type. So with that, the need of the hero is recognition. Hero functions are very good, very capable, very strong to recognize their ability, to praise their ability, to praise what they're naturally really good at, is the need of the hero. The need of the inferior is reassurance. I call the inferior also the infant. Just as you may swaddle an infant, right? Create some barriers around it to make it feel safer, to encourage it to explore within that area. That's kind of how the inferior works. It needs more opportunity. It needs kind of constructed space around them to explore, to practice, to expose itself. And then through that, the inferior will grow bravery and will grow ability within the type. And lastly, the need of the critic. The critic has this very serious mission, and even though it's very cynical and can look very bitter, it can be extremely harsh. The critic function can be very brutal. The critic has, as we've talked about, a hidden idealism within them. They are like this little thorny little thing, but within that is this little, frankly, precious ideal that is being protected by their cynicism and by their bitterness. Affirming the mission of the critic sees the image, the idea of what it would be like if other people took seriously what they take seriously. And through that, transformation can be made. So affirming the importance of that mission. Yes, ESFP, you are right to question basically the flippancy of other people's morals. You see that other people don't stick up for what they believe in, that they don't actually believe in anything, that they are conformists, right? That they don't actually, that a lot of people are really just selfish secretly. And you're more comfortable with being selfish out in the open because at least you're not pretending to be something else, right? That is the wisdom of FE Critic. And if other people knew that, yes, the world probably would be a better place. So affirming the mission and then showing evidence, showing the ESFP evidence that you can actually care selflessly, right? But also evidence is involved with pushing back against the critic, because the critic can, well, like I said, can be brutal. FE Critic can destroy the worth of other people. They can justify making other people look terrible bringing them down because they have judged that person as being inferior or being fake or being whatever. Showing them evidence that, hey, FE critic for the ESFP, you are doing more harm than good to that person. What makes you the judge of who deserves what? That's something, that's a challenge, that's evidence you can bring against them of, hey, this is not actually helpful. And maybe they will be right, maybe they won't be right. But the critic, you can push back against the critic. And if that person does not use that as an opportunity to reflect on how they're using their critic, maybe there's not so much wisdom there. So those are the needs of the archetypes, and now we're going to get into the functions as they specifically plug into the archetypes. Okay, so extroverted sensing hero. ESFPs have this ability to infuse life into the present moment. They have this performance, this talent, this mastery of the physical environment. They're kind of, I don't want to use the word primal, but that's kind of what extroverted sensing hero is. They're very physical. They're often very gifted in the world around them, in surviving and doing things and doing them well. They have this ability to pick up something and just find a way, find a use for it. SE heroes give a lightness. This is where they are accused of being shallow, but they bring this joy, this lightness into the room. Of all the people that I can think of, who just being around them infuses this energy, this lightness, this ease, ESFPs are many of those people. With that, they captivate with their experience, with creating experiences, with giving experiences. They are really fun to be around, actually, and they have this lightness to them. Okay, what does SE Hero needs? First of all, it needs attentiveness. It needs your attention. Now, they may demand more than you can give or more than you should give, but at those opportunities when you can give and you do, it infuses SE Hero with this excitement, with this joy, with this recognition that their performance is worthy of your attentiveness. They love being around people who are attentive to them, specifically. Next is stability. Now, we talked about this in the INTJ video, talking about extroverted sensing inferior. Not promising more than you can deliver on. They need consistency. They need stability. They need people who will live up to what they say, who will show up on time, who will be there for them no matter what. That's what they crave. That's what they seek. And through that, if they can have stability from other people, they are more willing to take risks with their NI inferior to actually pursue something that they want. Now, with that, they also really like if you help them relieve obligations from them. I'm not saying you shouldn't make SE heroes do chores, but having someone around to help them ease the obligations. They hate being burdened down by obligations. It hampers their freedom. It hampers their ability to express themselves and to move. So along with the attentiveness and the stability, helping them relieve or take care of some of their obligations can really help SE hero feel more free, feel more flowing, which is what they want to do anyway. They want to flow, right? And then lastly, challenge. Part of SE Hero's need is giving them an opportunity to perform, giving them an opportunity to show you what they can do. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. They love that. Now, if it's the first time they're doing it, they might have some anxiety, actually. So showing them how to do it a couple times, they will pick up on it really fast, particularly something physical, right? And they want to show everyone what they can do. Giving them an opportunity for them to show you what they can do infuses that life, infuses that challenge, infuses that competitive spirit with their desire to do it right and do it well. Next is NI inferior. NI inferior is very afraid of making choices, very afraid of committing. ESFPs don't want to commit. They don't want to make a choice. They don't want to miss out on all the other things that they might miss out on. The FOMO characteristic probably doesn't apply to anyone better than the ESFP. They have serious fear of missing out. And that in part comes from NI inferior. So because they fear choosing things and fear missing out, one of the things they give is that when they make a choice, when they choose you, or when they choose a path, or make a choice, take a risk, it is so valuable. It's so important because they don't know if it's going to work out. They really don't know if it's going to work out. But when they make that choice, it's this kind of precious and passionate fire that's infused into you or to other people. Really value the choices that they do make. Praise those choices, praise those risks, because in some way, as long as they're being careful, even if it doesn't end up going very, very well, it doesn't mean it's a mistake, because building that courage is really vital. Next is achievement. People have this image of ESFPs that they just play video games all day, are very lazy, just want to smoke weed all day, just want to do nothing. And yes, that can be the case sometimes. However, when they make a choice, they can be very, very serious about their achievements and about their goals. And they can be inspiring with how long they can last. I've met ESFPs who have gone through 6-8 years of college, which is really hard on them because it is taking away their freedom, right? So they can be seriously committed to paths when they make that choice. Okay, what does Inferior need? So what I want to emphasize here is if you're trying to show ESFP why not to take a certain path, you need to show them. You need to show them viscerally. If you tell an ESFP, well, this is probably going to happen, that's probably going to happen, it's going to be a bad opportunity, that's not really real to them. They're in the moment. They're about the experience, soaking up the world around them. So if you go to places and show them the options, first of all, maybe they're deciding between a couple jobs or a couple schools, you take them to those places, you show them what the experience is like, and they will immediately soak up all that information, and it will help them decide what they want. Along the lines with that, show them the consequences. It's sort of that, it's kind of a silly thing, but a lot of schools have those, those pictures of druggies before and after, like they look like normal after and before, and then like they look really bad after. That's kind of designed for ESFPs, because if they see that, like, oh, I don't want to end up looking like that, so I don't want to pick that. That infuses SE Hero with the data of, hey, that is what that experience will be like. We probably don't want that. So instead of telling them abstractly what might happen, show them, give them visceral experience that they can soak up with. Now, related to this is minimal obligation. Now, again, I'm not saying you shouldn't make your ESFP child do chores. That's your choice, and a little obligation could teach them the value of the freedom that they have. What I mean by minimal obligation is try not to make choices for them, particularly if they haven't proven that they can't make the choice. What you can do is show them the options, show them the consequences. That will give NI Inferior at least the ability to tell them what they don't want. Now, they may struggle to pick between their remaining options, but it's a lot easier as soon as they know what they don't want. So try not to make the choices for them. Show them what might happen. Show them the consequences in a visceral sense, and they will tend to make much better choices and preserve their freedom. Okay, lastly, FE Critic. FE Critic has this perspective of other people are bad, other people's values don't matter, what other people care about doesn't matter. The things people do care about, they don't stick by as soon as pressure is applied. Everyone's just chasing being acceptable by others. They don't stand for anything. And FE Critic, you're right. A lot of people are like that. Society is kind of like that. So the first thing that they give to us is they test what is acceptable. Okay, if an ESFP accepts you, but they are not about the other things, that feels very valuable. That's hard for them to do. That is you passing their critic, testing acceptance. They challenge those who judge you or judge others as being unacceptable, okay? They are also, because of that, a source of acceptance. FI parent, which we're not talking about, but it is connected, is a source of acceptance for other people. Now, the issue here, FE Critic can also be very elitist, okay? Because yes, that they may accept you when other people are not accepted, but they have this other struggle where they only accept things at times that are regarded as being really important or flashy or looking really, really good. So when they accept you because of their actual moral conviction, that's different than when they only accept things because it's popular or people like that or people think highly of that. It's a little bit different. So it's a different kind of conformity than most people are used to. But what they need is to challenge elitism. They can be very elitist. Not all of them, not all the time, but they have a proneness to that because of FE Critic. That's not good enough for anyone, right? That's not popular enough. And that's what it really comes down to, is if it's not popular. And that is where their elitist struggle can come from. So challenge that. And then with the conformity. Like I just mentioned, they are often right about their analysis of other people in society, that we're very conformist. We accept things one day and then not the other day. It's like, where is the standard? Where is the moral consistency, right? It's often not there. So yes, FE Critic, you are right about that. Affirming that mission and affirming that, yes, things would probably be better if people stuck to what they actually believed in, or if they actually believed about things, or didn't fake their selfishness. They're all about smelling out selfishness, hidden selfishness in other people. That's what FE Critic is really, really good at. And like I mentioned, they are often selfish themselves, but they're more out front with it. And it's like, at least they're not hiding it behind the demure of looking good, right? So because of this, what you can show evidence to FE Critic is show selfless service. They think other people are always selfish, always have selfish ambitions, especially the ones who don't look like it. So being consistent to SE Hero over time and contributing and being selfless, they have no choice but to question their own critic at some point of like, okay, maybe that person is not actually as selfish. And then it challenges themselves of, okay, well, if that person's like that, then maybe I'm being too selfish, right? And that is how FE Critic stays alive, is by being challenged and not just judging other people. Then lastly here, justify the investment, okay? FI parent, which is related here, ESFPs also have FI parent. FI is all about investment, and FE Critic judges and determines whether that person or that opportunity is worth investing in. So helping them justify their investments into things, showing them why it's good to invest in it or bad to invest in it. That is a great way to gain the respect of FE Critic. Recognize that this is the hardest barrier to pass for the ESFP. So recognizing that they kind of need justification in order to invest in you or in other people can help you talk to the critic a little bit more. So once you get past that, they will be more open to investing, particularly if they see that you're not going to just take their investment and run for the hills. If you're there to take what they give, and they can be very generous actually, to take what they give and to make it into something better, or at least use it well, right? They don't want their investment to be like, pearls before swine, that kind of thing. That's what they're really, really trying to avoid. All right, guys, that's the ESFP's needs to give and to receive for the SE Hero in our Inferior and FE Critic. Hope you guys enjoyed. I think the ESFPs are kind of far more interesting, actually, than a lot of the people in this community will give them credit for. If you have an ESFP in your life, I'd love to hear some anecdotes or some insights about them. I think they're kind of fun and they're kind of interesting. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.